Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Just give me 1 minute. Let me just quickly check. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Please let me know wherever you are coming from. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Yeah. Yes, let's go. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, good evening. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Wherever you're joining from, please let me know where you're joining from. Please just let me know. Let me know, please. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Let me know where you're joining from, please. Let me know where you're joining from. Thank you. Yes. Good evening. Let's just enjoy that music from ABBA. Is I believe I have a dream. I've got a dream. Thank you very much for joining. Let's just take the next few minutes just to wait for others to just join us. Yes, we've got a destination. We're going somewhere. Nothing can stop us. Nothing will stop us. Wherever you're joining from, please just let me know. Just comment below. Wherever you're joining from, please. You can just share this with your contacts. Share the link with your contacts so that you can join as well. It's going to be a powerful conversation tonight. As you can see, I'm relaxed as well as always. Let's come together and just have some fun. Stop. Please just take some time to just share with your contacts as well. Just invite everyone. Let's start. I can imagine we've got quite a lot of questions that we're going to be covering tonight. But please just share with your contacts and let's just have some fun as we also dive into some of the questions about influencing the next generation. I can assure you, the next generation, they're looking up to us. And they're waiting for us to be able to pass something over to them. But we need to come together to be able to fix this. Okay? Thank you for joining. Thank you. Okay. Good. Thank you very much. Thank you to those that are here now. Thank you. I think I've got Brother Zion at the moment. Who else have we got online? Okay. I'm expecting the people are coming. Okay. Please invite your friends, invite people. Let's come on now. I'm just taking time to also check with my contacts as well, just to invite them. Good. Thank you very much, Damian07. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Yes, I believe. We're just about to start now. We're just waiting for a few more people. In the next 1 minute, we're going to start. So thank you for joining. Thank you so much for joining. It's going to be an amazing moment tonight, and I can assure you that we're going to have fun. We're going to have fun as we also delve into the topic. Influencing the next generation for leadership. Okay, we're going to start now. My name is Temitayo Oyeduron, and I'm the author of Self-Identification Management book. And I'm committed to living on purpose and also helping other people to be able to identify certain aspects of their life that can help them to be able to fulfill purpose as well. That's what I'm committed to do. So in any way that you feel that, yes, you think that we can work together, please get in touch, and I'll be happy to be able to have a fantastic discussion with you and see how we can move things forward. Okay, so tonight, or this evening rather, we've got a very powerful topic that we're going to be talking about, and that is the influencing the next generation for leadership. Influencing the next generation for leadership. We started this conversation yesterday, but due to the weather and also the internet, we weren't able to actually finish it. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you, Rise Forever. Thank you very much for joining. We're just starting out anyway, so you haven't really missed a lot. So we're going to be taking some time tonight. I believe the weather will really work in our favor tonight. We're going to have an amazing session, amazing time tonight, just to learn a few things, and also for you, also the audience, to be able to ask your question. Please just start putting your questions forward. Chike will be joining very soon, and then we will start. But just before it comes up, I just want to let you know that Chike has been, his name is actually, I don't know how it works, but his name is on the Hall of Famer, and also is one of the UN most influential, is being recognized as one of the UN most influential persons of the African descent. I don't know how big that is, but certainly I don't know what he did for him to have attained that. And also, at least as I'm going off, he's one of the former presidential aspirants for Nigeria in the last election. And yes, that's also one thing that actually dropped my attention towards him. And also, I believe he's also a Colin Powell Fellow, as he said, and he's a founder of an organization called Startup 52. Startup 52 is going to be telling us more about that. But just before it comes up, I just want to give I just want to share one or two things that maybe I've learned. If there's anything that you've learned from yesterday's conversation with him, please just comment below, and also so that at least we can share one or two things. And I believe one of the things he said was that is one area that he was actually focusing on while he was running for the presidential election in Nigeria was digitalization. And there was a question that was thrown at him, that would he really want to digitalize Nigeria, and he said yes, categorically yes. So I think he delved into that question yesterday, but we're going to be learning more about that, or we're going to be hearing more about that. And I just want you to feel relaxed, and just know that we're here to have a conversation. It's not like a teaching or anything like that. It's just having a conversation. I've seen quite a lot of successful people that over a cup of coffee, or maybe some of them go to the bar and stuff like that, that's where they have serious conversation, and not just meetings and all of that. So that's why I'm looking very relaxed this evening, and so that we can have a wonderful conversation. Okay, so as we wait for our guests to come up very soon, so I just want to also definitely. So just give me 1 minute, please. So as you know very well, that this series is called Live on Purpose. Live on Purpose. And as such, this conversation today is not so much to do with politics per se. It's just actually helping people to be able to recognize some of the things that would actually help them to fulfill purpose. And I would say that one of such things is courage. Courage does a lot of things in us. We need to be courageous in order to be able to move from where we are to where we're going to, because the future is not yet here. You haven't seen it yet, but in your mind, you would have seen the future. You would have dreamt about the future where you want to get to, but you need courage. You need courage, okay? And yes, someone that has actually exhibited courage is someone that has exhibited courage in the area of actually pursuing his dream of becoming a Nigerian president is Chike, who is going to be our guest this evening. I hope he's not. Yeah, I hope internet is not also delaying him, but yeah, I'm sure it's going to come up now very soon, and then we can sort of like start. But like I said, is there anything that you've learned from, or that you've picked from yesterday's conversation? Please post it, and let's have a very let's just learn from each other. Let's just learn from each other and just pick one or two things from each other. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And also, one of the questions that was that was asked was around the fatherism, and he said that he doesn't believe in that. He doesn't believe in that. He believes that obviously people need to work their way to the top and not just rely on somebody to be able to help them to be able to do that. Okay, so good. Yeah, and another thing that he also said was around trust. That one of the first things he would work on, one of the first things that I would work on or encourage people to work on if you're going into the leadership, especially in Nigeria or in Africa, is to actually work on the trust. Get people to be on your side. I mean, like get people to trust you. Get people to trust you. And I think this relates to every aspect of our lives, every aspect of leadership, whatever we find ourselves. If in any leadership capacity, just make sure that people can trust you. People can trust you. I'm sure even in homes, I believe husbands should trust their wives, and wives should trust their husbands. And while also, as a parent, you trust your children, and let the children also trust you. So that's those are some of the things that I could pick from the conversation yesterday. While the live video was actually truncating due to internet, and I take full responsibility for that. Yes, the weather was really bad yesterday, but thank God it's amazing today, so we should have a very good time today. Let me just I believe Chike will be joining very soon now, so please guys, prepare your questions, and let's just dive fully into that. I've got my questions as well, and yes, we're just going to be going into the questions. I've introduced them yesterday already, so yeah, get ready. You ready now? Chike is coming up. Good. Let's see. I believe Chike will be coming up very much.
I know. Like this keeps.
Hello.
Hey, how are
How
you?
are you?
Happy Sunday. Trying to fix this camera so that it's not so.
Can you hear me very well? Can you
Is
hear
this
me
better?
very well?
Yeah, cool.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Much better
Good.
today.
Good today. Very today. I can hear you very well as well.
Awesome.
Okay, I've said so many things before you came up, and so I'm just going to give you time to just briefly introduce yourself, because I see some people that were not around yesterday. Just tell us a little bit about yourself, please, and then we can start.
Chike Ukaegbu. I'm a biomedical engineer by education. But like I said yesterday, I think the bulk of my work is at the intersection of public service and innovation, right? So the ability to empower untapped and oppressed communities, through tech education and entrepreneurship. It's something that I'm passionate about. Yeah.
Good. You know, one thing that I think I find very interesting is that when you talk, I get to even figure out even more things about you that I probably need to probe more. So, you mentioned innovation and entrepreneurship, and I believe for a nation and for continent or anyone, or let me just say nation or continent to actually progress or be developed, I think that aspect of innovation and entrepreneurship will be very critical. So tell us a little bit more about what you think innovation and entrepreneurship can do with regards to the development of, let's say, Nigeria first, and maybe the overall continent of Africa. Please.
Awesome. So people ask me why I'm passionate about these three things. So tech, education, and entrepreneurship. I think they all have to work hand in hand. And I say this, education helps us to understand our problems, but also to find solutions to them, right? Technology helps us to scale the solutions, so that more people benefit from them. And what entrepreneurship does for us is it helps us to monetize these solutions, right? So for a place like Nigeria, where majority of our population is dependent on small business entrepreneurship, right? We call it the informal economy. You see the importance of being able to empower people to achieve what they do naturally. So I tell people um, the way Nigeria is Africa's largest economy, yet the people spend more than 40% of their operational capital just to generate power, just on power alone. So imagine how much productivity would go into the economy, into the continent, into the world from our people if people had access to power. That's 40% more of your capital, of your manpower that you get to save, of your time that you get to save and can flip, for profits or for, output. So there's so much potential in Nigeria, on the continent, that is yet to be harnessed, which is part of the reason I believe that Africa does have a very strong potential of becoming the most powerful continent in the world, right? It just depends on our ability to make that happen.
Good. Thank you. Thank you for your response. I've got another question, which I think this time around, yeah, please. So now, obviously, the not too young to run, yes, the policy so Nigeria right now. But the point is, what are the opportunities out there for youth or for younger people to be able to actually develop their leadership skills that would probably propel them to having the courage of going out there for such position as you've gone for, please.
So if there's one thing anybody knows about Nigerians is that we're very ambitious people. We're very hardworking people, right? Regardless of, some of the negative stereotypes when it comes to fraud and all that stuff. In fact, I still tell people fraud is a what do you call it? Is a show of how brilliant we are as a people. The problem is some people get caught, or some people channel this brilliance into the wrong things, right? So in terms of the opportunities that lie for young people, that's a very tough question. That's a tough question because, right? So when I think about Nigeria, right, based on my experience, right, I think that there are three categories of young people, right?
Okay.
There are those who are passionate about change, who would, do whatever they need to do to see it come to pass. There are those who claim they are passionate about change, but are, whether consciously or unconsciously, sold into the current system, right? For them, politics becomes the way out of poverty. Politics becomes the way into building wealth, right? And then you have the third group who are, for the lack of a better word, nonchalant, right, towards what's going on. For them, it's all about daily survival. I'll do what I need to do to get by. So yeah, whatever happens, happens. And I feel like you have a lot of people in category 2 and 3.
Wow.
Because all of our lives, that's what we've seen, right? So when people said, I told someone, I said, my candidacy was an anomaly for the everyday Nigerian, because all of our lives, we've seen the same people in power. For Christ's sake, Buhari was head of state the year that I was born, right? So these are people who've recycled themselves over and over and over and over again, such that it becomes difficult for us as young people to imagine ourselves in those positions. So success for us in terms of politics is becoming a special advisor, or, getting some sort of appointment from, a governor or a politician. We never really envision ourselves in those positions to leverage what we have as a people to change our nation. So that is where the paradigm shift needs to start, right? Who are you? What are your dreams? What are your visions? How can you impact people, right? You cannot fly like the people who built the first airplane. If they didn't think that it was possible, would not have, ventured into that space. And yes, there will be several trials and failures and trials and failures. But with each time, you learn something new that perfects the process, that betters the process. And that is where we need to start, right? We need to start to change the way we think about governance and politics in our nation as young people, and try. You may fail the first time, you may fail the second time, you may fail the third time. The most important thing is what you learn from the process each time that makes you a better candidate, or that makes you better the next time. And the more we start to do that, you start to see that gradually we'll start to feel other positions. Even if it takes much longer to get to the top one, people will start to feel all the other positions, such that when we eventually get to the top, you already have a base of people with shared ideologies that will accelerate the rate of development for our people. But you must see yourself. It's important to dream, to create that vision and to pursue it.
Good. That is brilliant. Thank you so much. And from that question, I think one thing that is dropped to my mind is around is this quote that I read, I believe, which is more about there's no great leaders, there's no great leader without successors, whereby you actually train people,
Yeah.
you equip people with the right leadership skills, whereby at least you're not just leaving there and there. Obviously, for those people that will also probably repeat the same process of producing something much more better than what you have done. Okay, so that's good. But I think I'm not too sure. I got a note from the digitalization yesterday. Is there anything you want to add to your response yesterday? That obviously maybe after the conversation you realize, oh, I was supposed to say that. Yeah, maybe I'll say it today. Is there anything you want to add to that?
So I'm not exactly, I don't even recall everything that I said yesterday, or where I stopped. Actually, before I jump into that, I just wanted to add, you talked about something that I think is extremely important. Succession plan, continuity plan. We don't have that at all, right? Now, there's a caveat to that though. The houses do.
The what?
The houses, the northerners.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I can tell you that because the strongest support I had from young people actually came from the north.
Really?
Yep. The best welcome I got in Nigeria was in the north.
That is amazing.
And part of what shocked me was that many of these young people were actually under 30. And these were leaders in their communities who had been empowered by those who were before them, right? So for instance, if you go to Kano, their former governor, Kwankwanso, is like a deity there to the young people because he trained a lot of them through school. He sent a lot of them out to go get their masters and their PhDs that the government paid for, right? And then they come back and they get jobs. They come back and they get grants or loans to start businesses. So all of these young people, right, before I came, so they planned my entire trip to Kano. brought a whole bunch of young leaders from, I think, 11 northern states that met with me in Kano. Yeah, literally. So I went to Kano Christmas Eve. They planned everything. They had planned a church that I will attend on Christmas Day, even though they were Muslims, right? We eventually decided, I told them I would rather do an orphanage. They took me to other states to meet emirs, and I got a house and name. All of that. I kid you not. Yes. Yes. And then you start to see the difference, right? Now, when I compared that to the welcome that I got in the Southeast, which is where I was from, it was more of a, one thing, oh, little child, you have done well, but, this is for adults kind of thing, right? Someone actually that my father paid for his PhD, and I know this because he said that, was like, I don't understand how your parents are encouraging you to run. At this point, anybody who's running against Atiku has to be a Buhari mole. This is someone from my village.
That would be discouraging.
Yes. Yes, very, very discouraging, right? So I can tell in the Southeast, we do not have a secession plan. I sat in one of those meetings with, other candidates who were running. And one of the candidates there, I'm not going to call his name. I told him, I said, dude, 25 years ago, I was 9 at the time when you were running for president, and you came to my home, to my father's home, because my father was supposed to have been your, regional whatever in the Southeast. So you came and you had dinner at home. I was 9. Now I'm 35. This was 2 years ago. Well, no, I was 35 last year. Wait, I'm 37 now. I was 35 2 years ago. So this is 2 years ago. I'm like, now I'm 35 and I'm still sitting at the same table with you, still running for president.
Wow.
At this point, it should be you becoming mentors for people like me to understand what that process is, to educate us on where you made mistakes or where the loopholes are and what to do and what not to do. Not being at the same table with you, still talking about the same thing that you've been trying for 25 years.
Okay.
That's
interesting. That's interesting. Okay, now I'm going to challenge you now, right? I'm going to challenge you here. So, the question here is, what exactly, I mean, obviously I know you do many things, but what are you doing at the moment in your capacity to influence the next generation for leadership? I believe one of them is this, but what other things are you doing? I just want to
know. So the way I look at Africa now, the way I look at Nigeria, I tell people this, and some people get offended. I say I'm black first, then I'm African, then I'm Nigerian before I'm Igbo, right? A lot of Igbos who believe in Biafra get so offended by that. So that's a whole different topic. So I tend to take that arc, I would say, in terms of leadership, right? I think that as much as grooming people is local, it also has to be global, right? In terms of grooming young people, I'm still in touch with a lot of the young people who were part of my campaign. Actually, before the end of the campaign, we had launched some initiative called Project 18 to 35, which was supposed to focus on grooming young leaders across the continent between that age bracket. Things kind of paused a little bit, because I had, deviated a little bit in trying to raise capital, venture capital to fund founders. So in terms of grooming young leaders right now, let's say that it's in stealth mode, right? So I'm doing the little that I can, just because of all of the things that are on my plate. But it's definitely something that I plan to to take on more aggressively as time passes by. Yeah.
Good.
So
Thank you very
so,
much.
so for instance, for any young person who plans to run for office in 2023, I'll be happy to give time to hear them out and to tell them what I think and, help them in any way I can. That's the least that I can do. But in terms of a more organized leadership training stuff, yes, that would come in the future.
Okay, that's good. Thank you very much. And I think, like I said, it's a challenge, and I'm challenging you because I'm speaking on behalf of quite a lot of youth out there. And I'm speaking on their behalf purely because there is something that you've learned in the process of the journey. And there is a lot that they can learn as well. And
Right.
not just from you, and I'm sure your influence as well also counts. And maybe your exposure and maybe the people that you surround yourself with will be very, 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 very relevant to you being able to help those people. Okay. So I'm going to read a question from someone on, and which says, what was the major reason why you didn't win or given the opportunity? Don't laugh. It's a question. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think is the major
Okay.
reason?
There's several reasons. Nigeria, there's never one reason when it comes to Nigeria, right? So like I was explaining yesterday, I think two of the major issues we have at home is poverty and hunger, right? Now, many Nigerians have solutions to our problems. In fact, a 6-year-old will tell you all the problems Nigeria has today and will give you the solutions to them. However, though, the reality of survival becomes a very, very, very important factor, right? So like I said yesterday, there were people who said, dude, in an ideal world, you should be the president, but we live in Nigeria, right? And in Nigeria, we only hear from our politicians once every 4 years. And that's when they need our votes, right? So this is the period where, we get the 1,000 to go vote, or we get the tiny bag of rice and, palm oil or whatever, right? If we cast our vote for you, knowing fully well that they will rig the elections in their favor, even the tiny little bit we get from them during this time, we lose. So it becomes a lose-lose situation for us. And I did not have 5,000 or 10,000 to give anyone to say, here, I'm going to replace whatever it is they give you. So you had no choice but to understand that, right? The other factor is the main reason, besides, of course, the fact that I went in to learn the process, the main reason why I had no rallies, right? I had brought my party together and I said, hey, we need to throw this huge youth rally, right? Even if it's one, let's see if we can get 50,000 people together, right? We're going to do it in Enugu because Enugu has a lot of, colleges and universities around, even in neighboring states. Enugu is supposed to be like the premier state in the east. It's right there, almost in the middle of Nigeria. It's close to, central Nigeria in the north, whatever. So it was ideal, right? So we called together all the party members and we're having discussions. I said, okay, 50,000 people, da, 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 da. And they were like, yeah, okay, so this would run from, maybe 10 a.m. till 7 p.m. I'm like, with who? They're like, oh, yeah. I'm like, no. I'm thinking of it 2-3 hours. They're like, no. Oh, people will stay. I'm like, what do you mean people will stay for 8 hours? Then they dropped the bomb. They're like, well, usually the people who are there because of what they get at the end of the event. So we have to pay everyone at least 1,000 naira. So, I switched into my math teacher mode. I said, hold on.
50,000.
You're trying to tell me that even before we start to plan the event, 50 million naira already is gone from just at least, not even at least 50 million, because that's the minimum. is gone from just paying the people who are supposed to be there. They're like, yeah. I said, hold on. So you're trying to tell me that for one event, we could spend upwards of 100 million naira. They're like, yeah, or more. I said, or more. Like, oh, well, this is canceled. Like, no event at all. Because I'm like, okay, so it means that if I have a rally today, right, and I spend all this money, and another politician comes tomorrow, you have the same people show up again because of the money, not because of the message. They're like, well, you know, if you say it like that. I said, what do you mean if I say it like that's exactly what you just told me? They're like, yeah, you know. So I said, wait. So I could easily spend 100 million naira and not even be sure that two people would have heard what I said. Like there's no return on my investment. They're like, oh no, but you know, the imagery of the people showing up as okay, when I try, well, this one no walk, oh, this one will not, no, cancel all of it. If I put 100 million naira and Facebook ads, I will reach probably every single Nigerian who is on Facebook, you know, with less. So that was that, right? So there is this mindset that election season is money-making season, and that's for everyone. Everyone. Let's not even dabble into party politics. Right. So what a lot of people don't know is a month to the election, my party sent me a letter via WhatsApp that they were withdrawing their support. Yes, Nigeria is a mess. Okay, no, let me rephrase that. Nigerian politics is a mess.
Okay.
So
don't go too deep into Nigerian politics and all of that.
Okay.
Please, let's make it big as it is right now.
So someone asked why I did not win. So I was trying to break. Okay, so let's just leave it at that. But yeah, politics in Nigeria. That's why when I look at politics in the US and what's going on, I laugh. I'm like, this is a child's play here, right? In Nigeria, you literally wake up in the morning and your focus is, I need to survive this day, right? So you don't understand the impact of the process, well, at least for me, until after the process. It was after I came back that I'm like, wow, this is a traumatic experience. Like I literally needed 6 to 7 months of not communicating with anyone to recuperate. Yes. And we can go into details, but not today.
I think I can imagine that. I can imagine with what you would have seen, what you would have heard, and all of that. Okay, I think there's an interesting question here. Because as you've said, there's quite a lot of things that probably aren't working at the moment. But come on, we can't just give up. So as youth, right, what needs to happen for a young person like yourself to become the president of Nigeria? Or let's say to become a president, let's say in Africa? Would support from Nigerians and others in diaspora being helpful? Do you think so? Do you think support from diaspora would have been helpful, something like that?
Definitely. So what people don't realize is Nigerians in the diaspora send home upwards of $20 billion every year, right? Which means I think in 2018 it was 25 billion. So Nigerians in the diaspora sent home more money than Nigeria made from oil in that year, right? Okay. But the problem is we don't understand our collective strength in influencing local politics because many of us are not usually interested, right? So could Nigerians in diaspora have played a crucial role? Yes, definitely, very crucial role. But in order to get them there, they also needed to believe that they could have that impact, right? Many of us tend to give up. We throw up our hands and like, oh, that country, oh, that country, oh, that godforsaken country, right? No, but it's our country, you know. So yes, definitely, I would say yes to that.
Good. So a lot of people. So this is an interesting question. So hopefully think about it before you answer. Will you consider running as a governor, House of Representatives?
Um, Governor, I would consider. I've actually had a couple calls, come run for governor of your state. And after I thought about it, I didn't think I was ready for that. House of Rep, maybe not, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Um, the change that needs to happen in Nigeria has to start at the executive level, right?
Okay.
So either president or governor, right? Governor because you man your state, right? You can become practically you run your state, right? As a president, you run the nation. So you've set the precedent, you set the pace for what should be expected, right? And people asked me this during the election. They're like, well, why didn't you run for Senate or for House of Rep? And I told them this. If I had run for either of those and won, right? One, I would have been the youngest person in the National Assembly, right? And this is what would have happened. You go in there, your first 100 days, you have all this zeal, all this passion, you make all this noise. Yes, this is what we need to do. Da 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 da. And all those older cronies tell you, dude, simmer down, right? Who's this small boy? Stay on the corner side. After they have sent you, maybe 2 disbursements of good capital, good money for your pocket, which in itself also becomes some form of blackmail, you become part of the process, right? Because you're one out of, I think, 735, I believe, something like that. So the impact, in my opinion, would not be as significant as the president saying on day one, I am cutting my salary by 50%. And I expect that the National Assembly will do the same. Otherwise, I will not sign off on anything, right? The nation backs you immediately. Work starts to get done, right? So there is a power in this. I tell people, I think Nigeria, if you ask me, I would say the Nigerian presidency may be the most influential in terms of national power because it's really an autocratic seat with a democratic disguise, smoke screen, right? So the change has to be leveraged from an executive
Wow.
position, in my opinion, for it to have the impact that it needs to have.
Good. 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 I'm gonna bring it down here, right? And I want you to really think through this question. So while you were running, I'm pretty sure you would have a vision for the nation as at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And do you think the nation of Nigeria has a vision at the moment? And what was your vision if you asked?
Wait, do I think Nigeria has a vision at the
At the
moment?
moment, yes. And what was your vision as at that time when you were running for the nation?
The current vision of Nigeria now, or its leaders, is to steal as much as they can. Simply, right? Which is unfortunate. Now, when I was running, right, I told people my thing was, it's extremely important to tackle the level of hopelessness in the nation, right? So I talked about the 3 pillars of my candidacy, which was education, technology, and entrepreneurship, right? But then these 3 pillars came with 4 solutions, right? One, feed the people, because like I said, it's extremely important to tackle hunger and poverty for us to get things done, for us to even tackle corruption. Invest in their well-being. It's important that we invest in infrastructure and things that will raise the quality of life of everyday Nigerian. Invest in their ideas, right? That's entrepreneurship, understanding the power that entrepreneurship has in building the economy, in empowering Africa, in influencing the world, and of course, invest in the future. I talked a lot about artificial intelligence and the future that we're stepping into, the impact of automation on a population that is underskilled, undereducated, and all of that. And the fact that it lays out a dystopian future if we don't start to tackle things today. So these four things for me were extremely important in turning the tide for our nation, and definitely as Africa's largest economy becomes a pace setter to help correct some of the wrongs across the continent as well. Yeah.
Good. That's good. I just want you to answer this question briefly, and then I'll go to the next one. So, in your own view, how has your faith influenced your decision to run?
Yes.
Yeah, you don't need to go too deep into that. Just give us a bit of
Okay,
information.
so here's the thing that a lot of people don't know. People who know me very well know that, right? So my faith is the most important part of everything I do, I would say. I believe that my faith shaped the purpose for which I think I'm here. I believe that my faith influences the projects or initiatives that I decide to work on. Now, for many people, okay, I'm going to do my best to answer this as quickly as possible.
Yes, please.
I think there are two groups of people. There are the religious people who are bound to religiosity, and there are those who understand faith, spirituality, and relationship, right? Religiosity is complying, is assimilating to what we think is expected of us, set by man as being good, right? A relationship is one that says, okay, I have a conviction about this thing, and I will pursue it because in this moment, it is an assignment that must be fulfilled, regardless of what the outcome is, right? And the truth is, many times, all the other people in this other group of religiosity would be the ones to fight against this other side. But it's okay because you're not doing it for them, right? There's a goal, there's a vision, there's a plan, there's a conviction, there's, whatever you believe you hear from God that drives all of that. So yes, faith was extremely important to me in making that decision.
Good. Got two questions, and I'm just gonna have no. Okay, so what do you see as the limiting factors for youth in Nigeria and in Africa? Those that are wishing or thinking of going into, I would just say politics, but leadership. What do you see as the limiting factors for them? And also, what are the steps that they can take to be able to overcome such limiting factors for them to be able to move forward? I'm sure you had some as well, but you just had to deal with that.
So limiting factor one, the current system, the fact that we have not taken our time to learn the systems to figure out how to disrupt them is a limiting factor. That's one. Two is our mindset, just like we talked about previously, right? Excuse me. Until we start to see ourselves, envision ourselves in these positions and plan towards that, we will not be going too far, right? So three things I would tell any young person who wants to run. One, study, learn the process, ask questions, gain everything you can. Two, believe that you can, extremely important. Three, be prepared. And being prepared means make sure you have the capacity, right? Capacity is you have the resources, you have the network, you have the vision, you have the ideology to make things work.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. I like the fact that you just went straight to the point. Okay, there's a question that I think I've just got that on. Tribalism. Tribalism has always been an issue in Nigerian politics. On which tribe runs for certain cabinet position NMPC, INEC belongs to. How would you address it? How would you address tribalism with regards to running the cabinet positions?
So how would I address tribalism with regards to?
With regards to people running for cabinet position, I mean, like, yeah, how would you address that?
So I think once again, right, when I talk about a system that has been perfected by the people who are currently there over the last 40, 50 years, is understanding I talked about weaponizing poverty and hunger. The other one is weaponizing fear, right? And the differences. It's just like what's going on in America today. When you tell people, oh, the people who don't look like you are bad. The people who don't look like you are here to destroy you. Blah, blah, they want to take advantage of you. Blah, 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 blah. That would always work because we have certain biases and prejudices that get activated. However, though, in order for us to leverage that, it's important, one, to appreciate those differences. Nigeria has, what, 526 languages, 250 ethnic groups. We must appreciate those things because those are the things that make us beautiful as a people, right? But in terms of development, merit-based, right? Part of the reason why I believe America, has been what it has for how many, decades is because when you come out to run for president, nobody's saying, oh, he's from Wisconsin, therefore, people from New York don't vote for him or find somebody who is from New York. No. Nobody says, well, the Secretary of Education is from South Carolina, therefore, the Secretary of Commerce or Defense must be from LA. No. You're looking for the best, most capable people that can move things forward. However, though, it is also important to appreciate and embrace the impact of diversity and inclusion in making things work.
Okay.
Right? So people talk about federal character. That's a band-aid solution. If you intentionally decide to use diversity and inclusion because it's profitable, because it works, because it humanizes us in building your governance, your government or your cabinet, you would see that you will attract the best of the best from the diverse parts of the nation that will move the nation forward.
Fantastic. That's good. That's a very good one. That's a very good one. Because of time, I've just got two questions, just for us to quickly round up this. So the next one is, would you think of running for the presidency of the United States of America? That's the first one. Yes or no? Why? Just briefly.
I'm not American. I can't run for president in America.
Okay, good. That's one. Yeah, obviously, because you live there, so that's what I was just thinking.
No, you have to be born here. I was born in Nigeria.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's good. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't know that part. So, the next question is there any question that you've never been asked before that you would definitely want somebody to ask you? If there's any question like that, ask and then respond with regards to that. If there's any question that you thought, oh, I wish people could ask me this question, and I would have said this. If there's any.
I mean, if I've not been asked that, I'm not sure I sit down thinking, I wish people will ask me certain questions. So, however, though, there was a question someone asked me a couple of weeks ago that stumped me a little bit because I had never thought about it. But that gave me the opportunity to think of it. And the question was, what is your greatest talent?
Wow. I think I was good at that. I was good at that. That's quite good.
And after thinking it through, I told him empathy. Mm-hmm.
That's a great one for leadership.
Yeah. Because, I tell, just like I explained yesterday, I said, I coming to America, I didn't know I was Black, right? So discovering my Blackness made me understand or made me look back to reflect on the biases that I had in myself and the prejudices. And because I knew it was evil for anyone to judge me just because of the color of my skin, it made me understand that it was also evil for me to judge any other person for whatever it is that they do. Now, in trying to correct that, I was forced to learn empathy. And many times, it doesn't sit well with people because sometimes these biases come out of us and then they get challenged. And you're like, oh my God, right? It's empathy that makes you love someone who does not love like you. Empathy is what makes you love someone who does not worship like you. Empathy is what makes you love someone who does not look like you, right? Empathy is what activates your privilege to help other people become better, right? So I'm not there yet, but I'm learning to tap into that and to use it. Yeah.
Good. That's actually good. Thank you. Thank you very much for that empathy. I think yes, it's good for us. So then I think someone is trying to say something about Kano here. So with the reception that you got from Kano, if you think of running, I hope you will not make Kano's be your headquarters or something like that.
So here's the funny thing. So while Kano brought me one of the best experiences during the campaign process, it also brought me one of the most traumatic experiences during the process. Yes.
You willing to share just a little bit? Don't go too deep, just a little bit.
Okay. So remember I told you on Christmas Day we went to an orphanage. So I spent Christmas 2018 in an orphanage in Kano. And you know, every time I share this story, I still feel like I need therapy from that experience, right? Because there were all these young kids. I think they were all under 10, most likely, whom we fed. Like I cried the entire time just looking at these young kids. And there was this little girl, if she was too old, probably 2, 3 years old, right? She literally latched onto me. So I carried her throughout the experience. And when we were about to leave, I was trying to explain to her in English that, you know, it's time to go, so I kind of have to put you down. And she was speaking Hausa to me. I didn't know what she was talking about. Some older guy, you know, passerby, said something that, you know, that has haunted me till today. He thought he was helping. He thought he was being helpful. He was empathizing with my sorrow being there. And he goes, you know, one way you can help is, you know, you can bring money to the orphanage and you can marry some of the older girls. And by older, these were like maybe 7 to 10-year-olds. And that broke me, right? Completely. Like for months, it was a nightmare because now not only am I thinking of the abuse that these young kids probably get from older kids who have been abused, but most likely they are all being abused by even people who are supposed to protect them, right? And the fact that, you know, a 60-year-old man can bring however much money to come buy children that he now marries, mind-blowing.
Wow.
So, yeah, it was like there were so many crazy experiences during, you know, the campaign process, but that moment is etched so bad in my mind that I can't shake it off. Because I'm like, I can't think about what future these young kids have.
Wow, wow. Well, we don't have much time, but I guess I shouldn't have asked that question. But thank you very much for sharing. That is really, really emotional. And I'm not too sure I'll be able to sleep tonight, but thank you for sharing.
Okay.
And thank you for your time as well. Really, really, really. Oh my gosh, it's been insightful, inspirational, and emotional at the same time. I think you ended on the great notes, making everyone emotional. But thank you for sharing, and we appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, brother.
Yeah, good, good, and definitely, it's been amazing hearing from And we look forward to the next thing you're going to be doing. Please, please, just keep us updated, and we definitely look forward to that. Please.
Right.
Thank you so
Awesome.
much. Thank you. It's good to have you guys. Please, let's just say thank you to Chike for coming up. So thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You got it. Pleasure.
Thank you.